Leclerc may have just done the one thing Ferrari never wanted to become public. Before a single lap of first practice in Austria, the tension inside Maranello is already rising. Because this is not just about setup. This is about pride. Hamilton arrives with confidence, stability, and a car that seems to understand his driving style. Leclerc arrives with years of Ferrari pressure on his shoulders, knowing that if Hamilton becomes the reference, the entire balance of the team can change overnight. And now the paddock is asking the question Ferrari cannot ignore. Why would Leclerc move toward Hamilton's setup direction before the Austrian Grand Prix even begins? That sounds like teamwork. But inside Formula One, it can mean something much deeper. It can mean one driver has found the key first. It can mean the car is choosing a side. It can mean Ferrari's biggest internal battle is starting before the lights even go out. Because Austria is not just another race. It is the weekend Ferrari expects more power, more answers, and more pressure than ever. And if Hamilton's setup becomes the path Leclerc has to follow, then the real fight at Ferrari may not be against Mercedes or McLaren. It may be happening inside the red garage. Subscribe to the channel. To understand why this rumor hits Ferrari so hard, you have to understand what a setup really means to a Formula One driver. From the outside it sounds cold. A few adjustments, a different wing angle, a change to suspension, maybe a tweak in brake balance, or how the car delivers power when the driver gets back on the throttle. But inside the cockpit, setup is personal. It is the difference between confidence and doubt. It is the difference between attacking the corner or asking the car for permission. And for Leclerc, that difference matters more than almost anything. Because Leclerc is not at his best when he is simply managing a car. He is at his best when he can trust the front end, throw the Ferrari into a corner, and feel the car rotate exactly when he expects it to. His speed comes from commitment, from instinct, from the kind of precision that only works when the driver believes the car will answer. But Hamilton's style is different. Hamilton builds trust in another way. He wants a car that gives him stability, a car that talks to him through the tires, a car that stays calm when the fuel load is heavy, when the rear tires begin to suffer, and when the race becomes a long game instead of one perfect lap. That is why this situation is so sensitive. Because if Ferrari's current direction gives Hamilton that feeling first, then the entire garage has to pay attention. Not because Leclerc is slow, not because Leclerc has lost anything, but because in Formula One, the first driver to understand a difficult car can suddenly become the center of the development path. And that is where the tension begins. Ferrari is not dealing with a simple car. The source material points to a machine built around aggressive aerodynamics, strong traction, careful hybrid energy management, and a major power unit step expected around Austria. That means the car is not only changing from race to race. It is becoming more complex, more sensitive, and more revealing. Every adjustment has consequences. Add stability under braking, and maybe the car becomes less sharp on turn-in. Make the front more aggressive, and maybe the rear starts moving too much on corner exit. Trim drag for the straights, and maybe the car loses the grip Leclerc needs in the middle of the corner. Give Hamilton the calm platform he wants, and maybe Leclerc has to work harder to find the bite he loves. That is the problem Ferrari cannot ignore. Two elite drivers can ask for two different cars. But Ferrari only has one development direction. And before Austria, that question becomes more dangerous because the stakes are rising. This is not an early season experiment anymore. This is the point where Ferrari expects more from the car. More power, more clarity, more proof that the project is moving toward Mercedes and McLaren, not just hovering behind them. So if Leclerc is looking toward Hamilton's setup direction before first practice, that is not just a garage detail. It may be a sign that Ferrari is searching for a single answer. And in a team like Ferrari, a single answer can create a single reference point. That is where Hamilton's arrival becomes so powerful. He does not need to say much. He does not need to play politics publicly. His presence alone changes how every piece of data is read. If Hamilton is comfortable, the team asks why. If Hamilton is consistent, the team studies the reason. If Hamilton can protect the tires better, engineers listen. If Hamilton finds a setup that makes the Ferrari more predictable, that setup becomes impossible to ignore. That is what Leclerc is facing. Not just a teammate, a measuring stick with history behind it. And the cruel part is that Leclerc has earned his place at Ferrari through years of carrying pressure. He has produced brilliant qualifying laps. He has kept belief alive when the car was not complete. He has been the driver Ferrari fans looked to when they needed hope. But Hamilton brings something different. He brings proof of what championship control looks like. And if the Ferrari suddenly responds to that kind of control, Leclerc has to adapt quickly. That does not mean he is copying because he is desperate. It may mean he is doing what top drivers do when the evidence points somewhere uncomfortable. They study, they borrow, they test. They take the useful piece, then try to make it their own. But that is easier to say than to live through. Because the moment people hear that Leclerc is moving toward Hamilton's setup, the story becomes emotional. Fans will not ask whether it is technically logical. They will ask whether Ferrari is becoming Hamilton's team. They will ask whether Leclerc is losing influence. They will ask whether the car has started choosing one driver over the other. That is why this rumor matters before first practice even begins. It creates a shadow over every lap. If Hamilton goes faster, people will say the setup proves it. But because first practice reveals whether the baseline is healthy. If Hamilton rolls out and immediately sounds calm, Ferrari will feel reassured. If Leclerc rolls out and starts asking for changes, the tension will grow. And if Leclerc's car has moved closer to Hamilton's setup, every comment from him will carry extra weight. Does he say the car feels better? Does he say the front is missing? Does he ask for more rotation? Does he complain about traction? Each word becomes a clue. Because setup is not only about lap time. It is about whether the driver feels ownership of the car. And that is the deepest part of this story. Leclerc does not just need to be fast in Austria. He needs to feel that the Ferrari is still his weapon too. Hamilton's presence can make Ferrari stronger. His feedback can raise the level. His experience can help the team avoid mistakes. His race intelligence can turn a good car into a serious threat. But if that strength makes Leclerc feel pushed away from his natural style, Ferrari could create a problem at the exact moment it needs unity. That is the balance Maranello must protect. Use Hamilton's experience without making Leclerc feel replaced. Use Leclerc's speed without ignoring Hamilton's need for stability. Follow the data without turning the data into politics. Because once the car becomes fast enough, politics always gets louder. And this is where the Austrian upgrade becomes the hidden pressure behind everything. Ferrari is not arriving at this weekend only to compare two drivers. It is arriving to test whether the entire project is moving toward the front. The power unit correction expected around Austria is supposed to attack the weakness that has followed Ferrari through the early phase of the season. That weakness was power. Mercedes had the reference. Ferrari had to compensate with aerodynamics, traction, and hybrid management. The car had strengths, but it was still incomplete. Now the missing piece may be arriving. And when a car becomes more complete, the driver comparison becomes more brutal. Because if the Ferrari finally has enough power, enough traction, and enough stability to fight properly, then the difference between Hamilton and Leclerc can no longer be explained away so easily. The stopwatch becomes more direct. The feedback becomes more valuable. The setup direction becomes more political. That is why Leclerc moving toward Hamilton's setup, if true, would not be a small detail. It would be the first sign of how Ferrari might organize its future. Around Hamilton's control. Around Leclerc's aggression. Or around a difficult attempt to combine both without weakening either. That last option is the dream. Imagine a Ferrari that gives Hamilton the stable rear end he needs to control a race, while still giving Leclerc the front-end confidence he needs to attack qualifying. Imagine a car that can protect tires on Sunday, but still produce a savage lap on Saturday. Imagine a team that can use Hamilton's calm and Leclerc's fire instead of forcing one driver to become the other. That would be frightening for Mercedes and McLaren. But dreams inside Ferrari always come with pressure. Because if the balance is wrong, the dream can become a fight. Hamilton may feel the car should stay stable. Leclerc may feel it needs more bite. Engineers may prefer the safer direction. Fans may demand the more emotional one. And somewhere in the middle, Ferrari has to choose what kind of car it wants to become. That is the real story before first practice. Not just whether Leclerc copied Hamilton. The deeper question is whether Ferrari is discovering that Hamilton's setup direction gives the team the safer path into a new, more powerful version of the car. If it does, Leclerc has to respond. Not with panic. Not with pride. With adaptation. Because the greatest drivers are not only fast when the car is perfect for them. They are fast when the car changes, when the team evolves, when the rules shift, and when a teammate finds something first. That is the test in front of Leclerc. And it is a brutal one. Because he cannot simply reject Hamilton's direction if the data says it works. But he also cannot lose the instinct that makes him one of the most dangerous qualifiers on the grid. He has to take what helps, ignore what hurts, and rebuild the Ferrari around his own hands before the weekend moves too far away. That is why the opening laps in Austria may feel so tense. The camera may show two red cars leaving the garage. But the real story is happening underneath. One setup direction. Two driving styles. One team trying to move forward without choosing sides too early. And one uncomfortable possibility. Hamilton may have found the first key to Ferrari's upgraded future. Now Leclerc has to decide whether to use it, reshape it, or prove he has a better one.